coming to the fourth and final London Prop Tech Den of 2017. Okay, so our first pitch of the evening is from Sush of Get Set Invest, who's going to tell you about his business, which is a crowdfunding platform for commercial real estate. Sush.
Hi guys, thank you very much again for having me. It really is a pleasure, and having been to a couple of these before, it's amazing to see how many more people are now attending. It's really getting a lot of pace and momentum, so thank you for the opportunity to present. I hope you can all hear me. The picture normally takes about 10 to 12 minutes, but in the interest of giving you guys time to ask plenty of questions, and rather than trying to speak at a pace which no one understands, I'm actually going to try and cut down as much as I can and give you the basic concept, and after that feel free to ask me any questions. So I'll start off with the idea. The concept is very, very straightforward. We are trying to make investment into commercial property a lot easier. Get Set Invest is a crowdfunding platform for commercial real estate. I'm hoping a lot of you know what crowdfunding is already and how it's used for startups to raise capital. What it hasn't really been used for yet, or what it's starting to be used for, is investing directly into real estate. With the likes of Property Partner, who are doing it for residential property, and they really have taken the lead, built up a large following. What we want to try and do is make it easier to invest in commercial with the same concept. So using technology, we want to empower our investors with direct access into the commercial property market. What's the problem we're trying to solve though? Because ultimately, you can invest directly into commercial property. It is one of the ways in which you can get a decent return on your hard-earned cash. You can also invest it in bonds, but at the moment, they have no returns. Invest it in stocks, but I have no idea. I'm hoping a little bit like some of you. What one of my friends has tried to do and failed, invest everything he had in his pocket on black. Didn't work out all that well. A lot of you have, and recently this has increased, started investing in residential property as a way of earning a positive return, because the bank is not paying you anything. If anything, it may start charging you. It's not going to. Interest rates will hopefully go up. And the final option, one of the final options is commercial property. And you can invest in commercial property through the traditional funds. But the problem you have there is you have no control. You lose all the control into what you are investing. But with crowdfunding, what we are aiming to do is give that control back to the investor. So you can pick and choose the areas you want to be investing in. You can pick and choose the asset type that you want to invest in. So if you live in the northeast of London, and this is one of my favourite examples, and you go to a climbing wall called the Castle in Stoke Newington. I don't know if any of you have been there. That is a centre run by its members. What we want to do is get assets like that into ownership of its members, effectively. It's a great business concept, and we do the due diligence around the underlying property. So we find out property like that which meet the criteria of a very extensive scorecard, and then allow our investors to invest directly into that. Kind of jumped ahead. Should have hit the next one slide. So we're going to be, we are in the process of building the first dedicated UK-centric crowdfunding platform for commercial real estate. We allow investors to invest in long lease income-producing assets, effectively, and we educate our customers about the benefits and risks of investing in commercial property. And the benefit is you can do all of this with as little as £50. To give you an idea of the return that we are trying to seek, it's in the region of 7 to 10% unleveraged, which is a hell of a lot higher than what you can get in a lot of the traditional methods of investment. I'm going to skip past this bit and just look at the benefits of crowdfunding. One of the many benefits is it's got a low investment threshold, so you can invest as little as £50. One of the problems which investors have, and I spoke to someone earlier today and he said this, in order to invest in commercial property you need a large amount, 6 figures plus, but actually with commercial property you'd be able to break that down and invest from as little as £50. You get access to large number of properties rather than investing a large sum of money in one property and then being at risk if the underlying tenant defaults. You have access to a lot of different properties where you can spread the risk and get exposure to a lot of different things. And this is the one thing which we think will really add value, increase the liquidity by creating a secondary market so that you can buy and sell your underlying investment on the secondary market, which obviously you can do with traditional property, but it's not as easy to do because you have to try and sell a large chunk to one buyer, effectively, whereas you'd be able to sell a small chunk to a lot of buyers who are already aware of the underlying asset. The other thing which we want to try and develop is allow individuals to invest pension investments into this, because pensions inherently are very much in line, the pensions are in line, the pension investment strategy is to find something which is long-term income producing asset, and actually commercial property very much offers that. One of the problems you have with commercial property though is in order for you to buy it directly you have to approach it through a fund, which reduces the rate of return you can get on the underlying asset, or you need a very, very large chunk of money, which is why I mentioned the crowdfunding point earlier on. So, in the UK, no one is offering this as yet, although having spoken to someone, someone's on our tails, so there's going to be a race to get to the market first. At the moment, there is no one allowing, especially pension investment, directly into commercial real estate. In the UK, it's worth about 700 billion. In order for us to break even, we need about 20 million. Sorry, some of this is useful for investors rather than just explain the concept. I'm not going to go into this in too much detail. I'm sure it'll be covered by some of the questions you guys have. And I'm part of one of four. The other three, unfortunately, I'm not here to like anything. So I'll be the one answering all your questions. Thank you very much for your time. Hopefully that was an interesting concept, and I'm happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Billy from Opportunity. So first of all, congrats on the idea. It sounds like it has a lot of potential. I don't know if you know Cater on the east coast of the US.
Cadre,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so that was started by the Kushner brothers together with Ryan, and I think they're fairly successful.
Yeah.
So, obviously that's good for you. I have a few questions just to make sure I understood this right.
Yeah.
So, would it be fair to say you're a property partner for commercial real estate?
Yeah, very much so. I think that's absolutely what we are aiming to be.
So, you advertised a few USPs versus the typical commercial investment. Obviously, the lower barrier to entry, because you can put in £50, the higher you get to keep control and choice, and the higher knowledge.
Yeah.
I would be curious to understand a bit more accurate, because as you know, the devil is in the details. It would be great to understand a bit more around kind of, when you say knowledge, what are you actually offering? Because I know property partners struggles with that because they offer the HPI, historical price index, as a proxy for how much that property is going to grow.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time that backfired because historical performance, future performance, not really there.
Yeah.
And secondly, how do you planning to test this? Because it sounds very much like an idea, but what legs does it have behind it? What traction do you have? What's the money in the fund?
Okay.
I remember Carter or Cater or whatever, they first bought like a $60 million building in New York, and they turned that around, and that's how it started.
Yeah.
So do you think you can start unless you have 100 million in the bank?
Okay, well, actually, let me take a second.
Knowledge, money in the bank, pilot.
Nice and easy. We've got 15 minutes, right? And no one else has any questions, so it's fine. I'm very
You can just choose one. It's fine. I don't want to...
No, so Cadre is an interesting concept. They are targeting high net worth individuals with individual investment size of above 250,000 USD last I checked. So I think it's a different market. We have verified that the product does work. We've crowdfunded 2 properties, but these were investments that were made with effectively high net wealth individuals who were looking for diversification and control. So the concept kind of does exist. And to be honest with you, the proof of concept has been already done by Cadre in the US, but actually another platform in the US called Fundrise. I think it was a year and a half, grew to about 260 million USD in assets under management. And in the UK, it's not too dissimilar to Property Partner. The difference between this and Property Partner is a different asset class, which we would be responsible for educating our customer base on. So we would provide a 2-page assessment on the property itself, what the risks are of investing in that property, what the reward will be. And you mentioned the reward. It's the return in property is twofold. One is focusing on income, and the other is focusing on capital growth. We're actually targeting properties which have a substantial amount of income attached to them. So whether that's finding properties which already have an underlying tenant, which say you've got a Tesco which has a 10 to 15 year lease. Now, hoping that Tesco doesn't go bust, although recently it's gone through its fair share, so may not be the best example in the world. If it doesn't go bust, you have an underlying tenant with a very strong credit rating and a lease which legally entitles you to revenue for 10 years. And if that's at 7 to 10%, that return is backed by that lease. And any capital growth would be on top of that. And we're not trying to predict what the market is going to do. We're not trying to take a punt on capital growth, right? This is why we're searching for good quality income assets, which allow investors to know that actually we have got a return of 7 to 10% on day one, and any capital growth is an upside that they will benefit from. And we look at historical trends, as well as what the market in that local region has done and what the potential for the underlying property is, and how we can develop that to allow our investors to have further potential growth. To kind of answer all 3 of your questions.
No, not really.
Let's have a chat afterwards, because I feel this is a...
Yeah, it's just good to hear about more about how much money you have in the fund, how you get it started until you start to go through that.
Sure, I'll touch on that. So what we're trying to do at the moment is raise £2 million of capital. We've got a loan facility of £3 million agreed with the bank. And of the £2 million, we've raised 25% already. £5 million allows us to have a basic skeleton of the online platform, of the properties that we want to invest in. We've identified properties, but we haven't hit go on them yet, just because we need another £1.5 million before we can do that. But that's sufficient for us to be able to market. We're targeting in the region of 4 properties to begin with, to allow individuals to have access to a number of different choices, so whether that be offices, whether that be leisure, whether that be retail, or not retail, whether that be industrial. So to give our investors choice as to what they can invest and can't invest in.
One question from the audience over here, and then we have to wrap up.
Cool.
Hello,
Hi.
my name's Jenna. I'm from Property Boost. So, hey,
Hey, Jim.
neat idea, really cool. A couple of questions. First of all, in terms of timescales, so raising money from the crowd can take time.
Yeah.
So if you're dealing with kind of like 60 mil, how quickly do you think you'd be able to raise that?
2 points on that. We're not dealing with 60 mil. The average property size that we're targeting is going to be somewhere between £500,000 and £5 million.
Okay, cool.
So it's a lot easier. Some of that is going to be leveraged, so it reduces that further. But what we want to do is pre-fund the properties.
Okay.
Therefore, we don't have that issue, and we're not under the cosh. Because initially, especially when we start up, one of the biggest challenges that any new platform faces, as you guys will definitely know, is getting the traction to begin with.
Yeah.
And trying to fundraise even £100,000. We hope it's not going to be an issue, and all of you guys are going to invest, definitely. But it may well be, so we want to avoid that.
And in terms of security,
Yeah.
are you going to ring fence each individual unit?
Absolutely. So the property ownership will be completely independent to us, and we have a separate company which is going to be managing all that. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Sush.
Thank you very much.